Welcome into the 49ers Report postgame show. I'm Chase Sr., and tonight's show is presented by Manscaped. Black Friday is coming up on Friday. Holiday season coming up around the corner. Gift something somebody special with Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/49ers. So the Niners here this afternoon at Levi's Stadium, able to pick up their 7th win of the season, and it was an impressive victory for San Francisco given this spot. Tampa Bay was in the hunt in the NFC playoff picture, fighting for one of those wild card spots, in San Francisco looking to make it 2 straight, working off the momentum that they established with that dominant victory last week against Jacksonville. And in moments in this game, San Francisco was very dominant, especially Brock Purdy, who compiled a perfect passer rating. The 3rd quarterback to ever do that for San Francisco, and the first since 1989, Steve Young and Joe Montana, the previous quarterbacks to do that. And in this 27-14 victory for the Niners, Brock Purdy was pretty much flawless in this football game when you take a look at the numbers. 21 of 25, 333 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, and that perfect flawless rating of 158.3. Unfortunately, though, with this game, we do have to talk about some injury news for San Francisco, because this defense suffering what looks to be a massive loss. All-pro safety Talanoa Hufanga is feared to have a torn ACL, and if that is indeed true, and it looks as though that is going to be the case, he is going to be out for the remainder of the season. Hufanga is one of the players who allows the drum to beat, so to speak, for this Niners defense. Last year was an all-pro in year 2, and it's unfortunate for him because he was drafted in the 5th round out of USC. And because he was not a first-round pick, he does not have that 5th-year option to be exercised. So next year in 2024 would be the final year of his contract. And after a season like this, where he was playing really well once again, you thought that maybe he was going to be in line for a contract extension. Now, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan, most likely tore his ACL. According to Matt Mayoko, he said, quote, in the tunnel after the game, it does not look good at all. The future here for Hufanga, a little bit up in the air. With the advances made medically, oftentimes players are able to come back very quickly. But for this defense, what does it mean? Hufanga is a player who has great instincts, who can make plays around the line of scrimmage, who Steve Wilks will often include on some of these blitz packages. It also happened on a non-contact injury in which, he kind of got crossed up a little bit, where Hufanga's weight was going to the right. He tried to go to the left to make the tackle, and for him, body weight went one way, knee went the other way, and I saw that replay slow down, and I said in the moment, it doesn't look good. Unfortunately, does not look good for Hufanga, who this year had an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 75.7, a run defense grade of 77.1, a pass rush grade of 78.8. That goes to show you the value of him being a blitzer, and a coverage grade of 71.2. Talanoa Hufanga last year was sometimes criticized for being over-aggressive against the pass, being caught out of position. This year, he's been able to shore up that aspect of his game, and he's been good in really every phase. 365 coverage snaps. He's allowed a passer rating of only 72.9, yards per catch of 6.7, 3 picks. Always seems to make a big play when the Niners need it the most. Only 5 missed tackles in a lot of opportunities. So Hufanga, if he's out for the year, that impacts this Niners defense. What it does mean is that Jair Brown will be thrust into a larger role. And Jair Brown and Tashawn Gibson will be the safety tandem for San Francisco. But we know this Niners secondary has already been a little bit light as far as talent and injuries. Jair Brown, the good news is, had an excellent game in what was pretty much his rookie debut. He hadn't played barely any up until this point. But he made a couple of really big plays down the stretch. On a 4th down inside the red zone, forced an incompletion on Baker Mayfield on a pass intended in the end zone for Mike Evans. And then later, off a Baker Mayfield deflection that went off the shoulder head area of Dre Greenlaw, Jair Brown tallied his first career interception. So he made some good plays And why I like the Niners drafting of Jair Brown coming out of Penn State, very instinctual and smart and heady player, has a lot of those same elements to his game as Hufanga, and now, most likely, the rookie is going to start on the back end for the Niners. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and this is why you subscribe. We're live here on the Niners Report still after our watch party as we approach nearly 100,000 views, and when breaking news happens, we have you covered. Join the 101,436 people worldwide who have subscribed to the program by hitting that sub button right now. More takeaways from this game. Let's go back to Brock Purdy. What are we going to say about Brock Purdy now if you're a detractor? What are you going to say as your argument against Brock Purdy playing like one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League? This Buccaneers defense is not a slouch, bad defense. They have a really good defensive line, and that's why they were able to generate pressure on Purdy a couple of times. Their secondary was banged up today, but usually does have talent. Brock Purdy, once again, threw with accuracy. He threw with anticipation. Unlike Jimmy Garoppolo, he has brought an explosive downfield element to this Niners passing attack that Kyle Shanahan has never had with a Niners quarterback. How about that 66-yard touchdown to Brandon Aiyuk, who had a hell of a day? Nearly perfect here. And off that 3-game losing streak, this is 2 games in a row in which Purdy has thrown for more than 300 yards. 21-25, 333 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And once again, his ability to target the middle area of the field is really special. And he's able to throw with touch, with accuracy. Made a couple of plays with his leg in the pocket, but also picking up first downs with his legs on a big play late where he scampered for 11, 12 yards. What he's doing right now is very impressive. And we talked about the numbers going into this week for Brock Purdy and where he ranked among all quarterbacks in the National Football League. And he's only adding on top of that with the numbers that he was able to put forward here today. Purdy going into this game against Tampa Bay, number 1 in passer rating, QBR, yards per attempt, adjusted EPA per play, passer rating under pressure, completion percentage under pressure, YPA, yards per attempt under pressure. Shout out Coach Yak for those numbers. He was 5th in big-time throw rate and 7th in completion percentage. The completion percentage is only going to go up. He's going to take over another quarterback who probably slipped in those rankings. And with all those other categories where he ranks number 1, he continues to make his case as being the Niners' for real franchise quarterback. Type BCB if you love what you saw from Big Cock Brock against Tampa Bay. And if you want to let your Big Cock Brock loose, Manscaped is our presenting sponsor for our postgame show right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm sorry, it was just too seamless of a segue. Get 20% off on the best men's grooming products at manscaped.com/49ers. Black Friday is coming up on Friday. Holiday season coming up right around the corner. And the holidays are approaching. But what if I told you that the celebrations are starting early this year? It turns out the perfect gift does exist. And who else to bring it down your chimney than the leaders in below-the-waist grooming? Join the 9 million men who have hopped on board the Manscaped train and check out their brand new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, which we've been showing you the images of right here on your screen. It features the new Lawnmower 5.0. Watch all of your wishes and mistletoe kisses come true with Manscaped. We'll put that link down below in the comment section as well as in the description of this video. The other point of emphasis that I want to discuss here with this Niners game is the way that the defense was able to play. On a couple of 3rd downs and 4th downs, Baker Mayfield made some really good throws and made some really good plays. But this defense was very good. Nick Bosa, he was busy once again. He had a sack, but constantly pressured the quarterback. He had 3 quarterback hits on a sack of Baker Mayfield. Fred Warner was able to come in, dislodge the football. Cleveland Ferrell had the fumble recovery. Fred Warner, on his birthday today, number 54, showed why he's one of the most feared defenders in the NFL. He was absolutely everywhere. 11 total tackles, 10 solo, a half sack, 2 pass breakups. And in total, this Buccaneers team, they scored 14 points, only put up 287 yards of offense. The Niners averaged more than 7 yards per play as producer Chip noted a little bit earlier, the Bucs, 4.3 yards per play. Mayfield, 29 of 45 for 221 yards, lost that fumble, also got picked off. And this Niners team, 5 sacks last week, 4 sacks this week, 4 turnovers last week, and a couple this week. And then this offense, everybody was really getting involved. They put up 420 yards, 305 of those came through the air. This Bucs rushing defense, one of the best in the NFL. And that's why San Francisco averaged 3.8 yards per carry, but McCaffrey still 21 carries for 78 yards, not bad for him. Elijah Mitchell, 4 carries for 24. What stood out is just the passing game being lethal. And I had said during our pregame show and our watch party, I said it with Larry Krueger during my appearance on his show on Friday, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to my channel, that because the Buccaneers' rushing defense had been so stout this year, this might be a game where San Francisco has to win on the back of Brock Purdy, and they might have to win with throwing the football. They did just that, and I think they identified that. And this is 2 straight games where Purdy throws for more than 300 yards coming out of the bye. Aiyuk, 5 catches for 156, 76 or 66-yard touchdown. George Kittle, 8 for 89. He had a touchdown. He stayed hot. And then Debo, a couple of timely pitches and catches from Purdy to him, 3 catches, 463. So this Niners team becomes very difficult to defend when you run the ball like you can with McCaffrey, and then you're able to throw the football like the Niners were able to do today. It obviously helped that the Buccaneers secondary is a little bit banged up, but Brock Purdy was throwing dots all over the yard. Another good sign is the fact that this Niners defense was good against the run. Going into that Jags game, 26th rushing defense in the NFL. They held the Jags in check last week. They hold the Bucs in check, 18 carries for 66 yards this week. So, a lot of takeaways that I have from this game. Talanoa Hufanga most likely out for the year with a torn ACL. But the good news is San Francisco 7-3. The Seattle Seahawks missed a field goal at the end of the game against the Los Angeles Rams. And now that sets the stage for what is going to be an awesome matchup in primetime Thursday for Thanksgiving. And we're going to be live for it right here on the Niners Report. If you're pumped up after that win, like the video, give us a bang bang Niner gang in the chat, and we'll be back on Monday and every single day with more Niners news and analysis.